Okay, learning objective number 2, dealing with salaries and wages. The number one, basically, item that most tax returns have. In fact, more than 80% of all individual income tax returns file some kind of wage income. So, biggest form that we need to know is basically what is known as the W-2. Now, you may have actually seen this in Chapter 1 homework, which you should have, because we had a comprehensive problem. But we're going to go a little bit more here. So, really, what does these boxes represent? Well, box 1 is the basically reports the taxable compensation. So, basically, taxable wages, salary, bonuses, awards, and commissions found on line 1 of the taxpayer's Form 1040. Box 2, which reports the federal income tax withheld. Those are the two biggest boxes that we basically care about when we file a tax return. The rest, there's a few that we still count because of other information that they provide. But basically, box 3 through 6 is basically our Social Security, Medicare taxes. Box 8 does report allocated tips. Then we got box 10, which reports flexible spending contributions to a dependent care program. That's very key because that could be a potential deduction for the dependent care. And then we got box 12, which is just a doozy. And we're not going to dive terribly deep into basically what box 12 has in store for us, because there is deductions and there's other items that we would have to look at. First off, we have code C, and this is a taxable group life insurance. Again, keyword is it is taxable, so we would have to put that in our tax return. We do have codes D, E, and G, and these are elected deferrals into certain types of retirement plans, which again will provide a deduction depending on the retirement plan for the contribution. We have code V, which is income from a non-statutory stock option. And what we see probably a 1099-B also for that. Code W means a contribution to a health savings account, which we have to be careful of. Again, that could be a taxable item, so we want to really make sure we watch out for that. And then we have code WD, DD. Ed and Eddie, double D. Anyway, you'll see this one a lot too. You usually see a lot of code D and code DD. This is a cost of employer-sponsored health care. So if an employer does offer health insurance, we do see the cost of that. It's usually a non-tax thing. It's just information for the IRS. Mostly what box 12 is a lot of information just for the IRS. But we do still report it. Then we have box 13, which will be check if an employee is eligible to participate in a retirement plan. Usually, I will say this, if box 13 is checked, most likely we have either a code D, code E, or a code G that's actually shown for the retirement. Box 14 reports other forms of compensation. This is sometimes with teachers and education, we will actually see the TRS retirement right there. Cafeteria plans, railroads, income, and retirement. Those are usually pop up in box 14. So we do really want to be aware of what's there. And then boxes 15 through 20 report state and local tax information. which is nice if we're filing a tax return in any state that has state income. Again, here in the state of Texas, we don't have that. Now, that ends the slide for salaries and wages. But, of course, there is a knowledge check. So let's check out the knowledge check. So it's going to be about W-2s. What information is recorded on box 2 on a W-2 form? Pause and see if you can answer. Alright. So, obvious answer is going to be D for federal income tax withheld. Again, box 1 has wages, box 2 has our federal income tax withheld, our FIT withheld. Alright, so let's go look at what a W-2 form is. If I can show these forms to you, I will do my best. So, PDF, and then here's the W-2 form. Again, it gives quite a bit of information already with our wages, our federal income, Social Security, Medicare, our Social Security tips, allocated tips, there's a dependent care, here's our 12, and then here's our state income tax. Biggest things we gotta make sure, we have an EIN for our company, and the employer's information, the employee, and then it should have their Social Security. That will be up here as well. Again, we have to have all the information to basically know what's going on and who owes. There's the Social Security. Okay. Cool thing is, again, if you go to the IRS website, any of these tax forms that we actually pop up, you can actually search for them, and then there's actually instructions for all these forms on the IRS website. Even though it's saying 2021, they're pretty much good. And if you really want to, you can always look up 2020. Cool thing, as tax professionals, we can look up these instructions, and notice that it has something called what's new. And what's new is basically what's going to be the changes. So, and there's a little bit. Looks like we got some retirement for our railroads. We got disaster tax relief. Penalties increase. A lot of interesting stuff. I'm actually surprised that they have the 2021 all the way up. Okay. So, that finishes basically learning objective number 2 about salaries and wages. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next one.